What are your thoughts when you invest your money and you want to take an income from those investments? Would you invest your money differently than you did when you were accumulating your investments? I'm going to suggest to you that you do. You want to invest in a different way, because when you're withdrawing money from your portfolio, you're facing a different type of risk, and that risk is called the sequence of returns. So I'm going to demonstrate to you what the sequence of return risk is, and then I'm going to demonstrate to you how we try to minimize that risk using a strategy called the cash wedge. In this chart, we have year 1 to year 10. And you've heard us say before, if you could earn a rate of return of, and in this case, we've used 7% each and every year, and that works out to an average rate of return of 7%. Now we know markets go up and markets go down. So what if the rates of return are variable? Well, in this case, we still have a 7% rate of return. Now what we've done is we've just sort of flipped these numbers around. Okay, so instead of earning 9.4 in year 1, we're earning 9.4 in year 10. But of course, the average of these numbers is still 7%. Now what happens when we make an investment? Does it matter what the sequence of returns are? So here we are, we put in $100,000, and we can see it doesn't matter. The average rate of return is 7%, and the investment value is the same. But let's change it now. Instead of just a deposit where we buy and hold, we're going to make the deposit and we're going to make a withdrawal of 7% each year. And these are the results. Of course, if we earn 7% each year and take out 7,000, at the end of 10 years we still have our 100,000. However, we can see, if the first few years we've got good earnings, we've turned the 100,000 into 117, and we've still taken our 7,000. But here's the other one, and this is the risk. If we take money out when markets are low, especially in the early years, even if we have strong earnings later on, we've taken that 100,000 and turned it into 83,000. And the difference between these two numbers is 42%. So it's significant. And we have to take care of this, or we have to have a solution for this. So what are the things that we can control? Well, first of all, we can't control stock markets. We can't control interest rates. We can't control inflation, currency. We certainly can't control your behavior, and we have to keep an eye on ours. But there are some things that we can control. We can control the asset allocation, so how your money is invested. We can decide which investments are going to provide you with an income. We know the different tax brackets, so we can work with those tax brackets. We can defer income if we need to. We can always control the investment advice that we're giving you. And of course, investment costs are significant too, and we have to watch those. And actually, for most of you know that we've started to work with a fund company called DFA, which has really helped us with these different things. So let's introduce the cash wedge and see what happens here. Well, we can ignore the percentages for now, okay? Because the cash wedge is really based upon your income needs for the year. And what we do is we determine how much income you need for this year, and we set that money aside in a cash account. And then we may have, in this case, we've got 2 years of GICs. So we've secured your income for 3 years. Now this is an example. Somebody else may have 5 or 10 years of guaranteed income. Okay. So what's going to happen here is your income comes from here to you, from the cash account. At the end of the year, this GIC is cashed in, and it goes to cash. This 2 year is now sort of sitting here, and in 1 more year, it'll go to cash. We have a bond portfolio here, and what happens is, of course, we take money from the bonds, and we bring that over here, and we purchase a new GIC. And we have an equity portfolio, and as equities make profits, we bring those and put them into the bond fund. Okay. Now what we've done is we've secured 3 years of income here, plus we have a bit of a buffer with the bond fund. So if we have a year when equity markets don't do well, we don't have to pull off the equities and purchase more bonds. Okay. We can hold because we've got 3 years, so we're not pulling money out when markets are down. The other thing that the bond portfolio allows us to do is if markets do go down in value, we have an option. We can take some money from the bonds and go back here into the equities and wait for a recovery. However, the whole system really is set up so that We go around. We go from the equities to the bonds, from the bonds to the GICs, then from the GICs to cash, and from the cash to you. Okay? So that is how we protect against the risk of sequence of returns, and that is the strategy of the cash wedge, and that's what we use.